All right. So today we are going to go over comma rules. And we're going to complete an activity in order for you guys to demonstrate your understanding of comma rules. You guys should already have notes in your journals over comma rules. Remember that station we did at the end of February, beginning of March, somewhere around there, where you guys had to copy the comma rules? Well, we're going to be going over them again, so use those notes to help you. So we're going to go over three main comma rules that you guys should know. The first one being that a comma comes before a conjunction that joins independent clauses. Remember, independent clauses are complete thoughts and can be standalone sentences. So here's this example from the circuit. The pot had many dents and nicks, comma, and the more dents and nicks it acquired, the more Mama liked it. Okay? This sentence right here, there's a comma, this sentence is a compound sentence. Why is it a compound sentence? Because it is joining two independent clauses using one of the fanboys. It's using and here, and there is a comma right before it. Remember, there's always a comma before the coordinating conjunction or the fanboy's word, all right? Next, use a comma after an introductory word, phrase, or clause. Introductory word. Yes, comma, it was that time of year. It was that time, of year. Introductory phrase. A little before 5 o'clock in the morning, Papa woke everyone up. Introductory clause. It was Monday, the first week of November. So if you notice, all of these introductory word, phrases, and clauses, they help set up what the sentence is going to be about. So for the introductory word, the narrator who is speaking says, yes. Yes is answering some question of what time of year? Yes, it's that time of year. The introductory phrase. It's introducing what Papa did. Papa woke everyone up. Well, when did he wake up everyone? At 5 o'clock in the morning. Same thing for introductory clause. It was the first week of November. All right, well, specifically, what about the first week of November? Well, it was Monday. Okay, all these introductions help give more specifics to what the subject is in the sentence. Next comma rule. You're going to use commas to separate three or more words, phrases, or clauses in a series. Now, some of y'all had issues whenever on last week's assignment, coming up with compound sentences. You guys chose sentences from the story that were actually this comma rule, where you're listing things, and every time you list something, there goes a comma right after it. And this is where you guys would get confused. You would see that comma and you would think, oh, this is a compound sentence. But remember, compound sentences have two independent clauses, meaning that there are two clauses that are a standalone sentence. All right? If you break up this sentence, suddenly I felt even more the weight of hours, days, weeks, and months of work. Right here, after the word and, months of work. That's not a standalone sentence right there. That's not a complete thought. But you see items are listed in a series. Same thing right here. Phrases in a series. Not necessarily has to be just words. He wrote down numbers, comma, crossed out some, comma, wrote down some more. All right, so let's do some examples on this side. We're going to do some examples for the first comma rule. All right, comma rule number 1. Use comma before a conjunction that joins independent clauses, otherwise known as compound sentences. So one example could be, this house is too expensive, comma, and that house is too small, period. Do you see how this is one independent clause? Because if you take away the rest, right? If you take that away, this house is too expensive. If we put a period, yep, that makes sense as a standalone sentence. Let's do the same thing over here. You take away that part. Let's look at this second part. That house is too small. That makes sense. That is a complete thought because it has a subject and a verb. So this house is too expensive and that house is too small. The two independent clauses. You notice how they're both combined using the comma and the coordinating conjunction and from Fanboys. All right, so next we're going to use a comma after an introductory word, phrase, or clause. So introductory word, let's start with that first. So one example that we could do, meanwhile, comma, the cat went to sit on the couch, period. All right. So meanwhile is introducing what the cat was doing while something else was happening. There is a comma to separate it. Next example would be introductory phrase. Let's see, another example of that could be as I went to go get ice cream, I slipped and fell. I made a mistake here. This is actually an introductory clause. because this part is what we would call a dependent clause, right? Because it's using as at the beginning, and as is a subordinating conjunction, also part of your AWUBIS word. So as I went to go get ice cream, I slipped and fell. You can also rearrange that. I slipped and fell as I went to go get ice cream, right? But you see there is a comma separating the two clauses. Next, let's do our introductory phrase. Okay. On the sandy beach, comma, we relaxed on, I meant to say in the sun, period. This phrase is introducing what we did in the sun, or where we relaxed in the sun. We relaxed on the sandy beach. All right, the third comma rule. Using commas to separate items in a series. So it could be like this. Do you like chocolate, comma, vanilla, comma, or strawberry? You see how all the commas separate the items. Another example could be I have 5 dogs, comma, 2 pigs, comma, let me write it out, 10 goats, comma, and 3 chickens, period. You see how after every item here that is being listed, there is a comma, because we have to separate all of these. Because if we do not separate them, then you would read it as one long continuous sentences. Remember, commas are pauses. So if it'll help you try to figure out where a comma goes in a sentence, read the sentence as you would speaking, meaning read the sentence out loud and see where you naturally pause as you read the sentence. For example, from the first comma rule, this house is too expensive and that house is too small. Notice how I gave a natural pause to where the comma is. But let's just say I didn't put that pause. This house is too expensive and that house is too small. it reads really fast. Or maybe here in the items in the series, if we didn't have commas, I have 5 dogs, 2 pigs, 10 goats, and 3 chickens. It's a little bit too fast, and it sounds a little bit more like a run-on sentence. But if we include those pauses with using the commas, then the sentence flows better and you're able to understand it better. I have 5 dogs, 2 pigs, 10 goats, and 3 chickens. So, you're going to try it out on your assignment. You're going to find at least one example of the comma rules listed below using the story, The Circuit, right? The same story we've been using. Write the sentence just as the author wrote it, and you're going to identify the comma rule that was used. So here are the comma rules, okay? You cannot use sentences that have already been used. So in these examples, you cannot use them. But you can use them to help you. So on your assignment, you're going to write it out here. Find at least one example. So the comma rules are already listed for you. All you have to do is just find the example and write it or type it out here. Once you do that, submit it, and you guys will be done. If you have any questions, let me know, all right? Have a good day.